I snatched my peach back. Now I want Angela's husband's juice. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I'm here to review season 16, episode 8 of The Real Housewives still trying to take somebody else's husband of Atlanta. So we start the episode off on day 2 of Porsha's Nashville trip for her birthday. We see Britt and her mucus. She's on the phone with her suspicious husband, Mike, and she's telling him, I'm not really sure how to feel about Angela because she came at me at the peace brunch and now she's insisting on bringing Drew on this trip. So you're upset with Angela because she asked you a fair question about your legal activity. Okay, Britt. And you know her husband is listening to her on the phone like, does she always sound like this? Like, baby, go blow your nose out for a second and then come back. You sound kind of annoying. So then we head over to Shamia. We see Shamia, she's crying, she's all emotional. She's on the phone and she's finding out that her daughter Shia has an ear infection and she hasn't been feeling the best, right? So then in the confessional, Shamia says, it's just so much going on right now. I'm just so emotional. She's crying and then she's like, I still want to give my husband the son that he needs because he's such a good man. And I get it, Shamia, because I would do the same thing, especially with all that money he has. Because nowadays you can't do that with any regular man. A man would just walk into your life with fucked up credit score. You'll be lucky if they have a good 550, 575, 600 at most. And they have a car, but guess what? One tire is leaking air. So now as you're riding together, you're going to the grocery store, running errands, all of a sudden you hear something like, so now your side of the car is leaning and he's like up there. And now you're like, wait, what's going on? Let's pull over to a mechanic. Oh, and it's hot outside, right? Oh, you tried putting the air conditioner on? Nope, it doesn't work. It's blowing hot air. Now it's 100 degrees outside. You're busy sweating. It's starting to smell a little nasty in the car. You ask him later on that night, oh, can you just eat it for a little bit? I'm feeling I'm feeling frisky. He can't do that correctly. So you try to, oh, can you just, suck it for a little bit? Oh, they start using teeth. Oh, can we just go out to dinner? Guess what? They want to eat nachos. But back to Shamia and, her husband, you're going to have to put yourself first because if you're already going through all of this emotionally with Shia, how are you going to handle a new baby in the picture? What's the point of making your husband happy if you're going to be stressed and depressed 24/7? And if he doesn't understand that, well, guess what? There's plan B. You just rob him while he's sleeping. Just make sure that you're taking like $5,000 from his account and tucking it in your pillow underneath every night, just in case if he ever wants to leave you, because men, they will leave you in a heartbeat if you don't give them what they want, right? Drew shows up and she has a lot of nerve showing up on this trip, knowing that her and Porsha are not getting along. But, her excuse is, well, me and her, we've been friends for a long time, so she'll be understanding if I just apologize to her or whatever. And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. So everybody, they're all getting ready. They all meet downstairs and I'm looking at some of these outfits, like, okay, Drew, she looks really pretty. Britt, okay, she looks nice. And then I'm looking at Kelly and I'm like, whoa, she has both her waffles out, with a pasty on. And I'm like, okay, she looks good. But, I thought the theme was, Cowboy Carter or Western or something like that. I wasn't, aware that we're selling pussy on this trip. Or what did Drew say last week? Did you ever sell it? The cat? I'm like, Kelly, I thought this was a classy birthday event, but I love the outfit. I love Kelly. So, they're all there. Porsha, we see her, she reunites with Drew, right? Porsha is so fake because, she has all this animosity towards Drew. And now she was just like, oh, hey, Drew, how are you? Oh my God, thank you for coming on my birthday. And then in the confessional, she was just like, with me, I don't hold grudges or whatever. Once I'm done throwing all these daggers, I'm done completely. Okay, Porsha, we'll see if you still have the same tune by the end of the episode, but okay. And speaking of cowboys, is anybody going to Beyonce's concert this Thursday on the 1st in Los Angeles? I will be there and I'm so excited for it. I cannot believe that we're about to do it all over again. It feels like just yesterday, the Renaissance tour just ended and now here we are again. I'm excited to wear my outfit. I'm gonna look so good. I can't wait to show you all. But let me not hype it up too much before I show you a picture and then I end up looking like shit. And Beyonce. I saw the clips of Blue Ivy performing the first show, and Beyonce, you should be scared. You should be trembling. I hope you're shaking in your cowboy boots because that crown that you have, yeah, it kind of tilted a little bit. You should kind of just hand it over to her because she's coming for your spot, but so good. But, I'm so excited. So if anybody's going, or if anybody's going in general for future dates, because I know some of you have commented before in the comments that you're going to different shows, I hope you have fun. And I hope you have a good time. So they get on the sprinter van to head to 2 different activities, and Shamia, she starts crying, she starts getting emotional. They ask her, what's going on, what's happening? Shamia lets us know that she just got a text message from a lady who didn't believe her about the abuse that she was going through in her first marriage. Shamia lets us know that in her marriage, her husband had hit her so hard in public at a hotel, so hard to the point where she went flying out of a chair. And the lady, I guess she didn't believe her back then, but now after all this time, I guess she came to her senses, and she had texted Shamia like, hey, I believe you now, I'm so sorry. So that makes me think, like, I'm assuming that his horrible behavior is still going on, and now that lady has probably witnessed something to make her think, oh, wait a minute, I guess Shamia did have a point. And Shamia, I mean, she has lived some life, right? So eventually, they pick the mood back up because I believe they split the group up. We see Homewrecker, Waffles, and I believe Shamia. They go to this place called Coyote Ugly. Ugly? Ugly. I'm not going anywhere with the name ugly in it. Like, absolutely not. Where's Coyote attractive, or Coyote beautiful, or Coyote, handsome, or Coyote gorgeous, or something like that? I don't want that type of energy. I'm not going there. Ugly. Like, look at the material. Like, I'm not going there. I'm going with the other group. They start taking these little shots, and they were like, okay, so you got to get on the table, and, you got to take it with your mouth. And Shamia, the arch was just arching, and I'm just like, I was just taking notes. I'm like, okay, let's see, because Shamia has a billionaire or a millionaire husband, right? So I'm taking notes like, okay, take a shot with your arch in the air like that. Your ass has to be at a good angle. Okay. Oh, she's using tongue. Okay, good, got it. Then we see Homewrecker, Porsha, right? And I'm looking at her like, So these are the tricks and tips that she used on Simon to try to get him from Fallon, right? She's doing it like, wait, give me 1 second, one second. Oh my God, I remember this position. And then we see Kelly, she's doing it. Now see, if I was doing this activity, with the way a man has not touched me in a while, I would have been triggered. I would have been like, oh, you want me to do it? Okay, hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, is everybody ready? Porsha, are you recording? Okay, make a TikTok video, okay? Okay, ready? I would have grabbed the glass and would have just started slapping my face. I would have grabbed 2 glasses like, wait a minute. I would have been so triggered. The bartender would have had to tell me, okay, can you take the glass out of your throat, please? But, they had a good time or whatever. Porsha, she starts telling them, it's just so crazy, how Angela, she would invite Drew, but I feel like she was trying to set Drew up. I don't think that, well, first of all, I don't think that Angela had any type of good intentions with bringing Drew on. She was just trying to be messy, because, Angela, why would you do that? This is Porsha's birthday. And speaking of birthdays, thank you all so much for all the birthday wishes, all the birthday messages, the comments, and I really, really appreciate that. It is crazy. I am really 32 now. My birthday was last Sunday, April 20th, and so, quick recap on my birthday. So for 2 days, I went to go see my family in New Jersey. We went to New York. I love New York City. It's the best city in the world to me. And we went to go see a play. It was called Titanic. It was a parody on Titanic. And I'm always going to be obsessed with the Titanic. And one of my pet peeves is when people cannot take nice pictures of me, right? So there was a bunch of photographers, right, in Times Square. And one of them was just like, oh, I can take a picture for you, And I was just like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll pay whatever. So then he directed me a whole bunch of different positions, in Times Square, like, oh, do this, do that, and this. And he showed me the pictures, and, shout out to that man, because, I'll put the pictures up here. He took so many beautiful photos of me, and I'm like, I know when I take a picture and it comes out terrible, I know it's not because of me. It's because of you. It's usually because of my friends. They don't know how to take pictures. Like, I'm just looking at it like, what is going on? What is so hard to capture this on camera? Like, what's happening? If he could do it so easily, why can't everybody else, right? So for the second part of my birthday week, I decided to go to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico by myself for the first time. I've never gone. And I was excited. I was eager. And honestly, if I'm being honest with all of you, I had a horrible time, and not because of Mexico, because Mexico was beautiful. Like, everything was nice, the scenery was nice, the weather was beautiful, the people were very nice, the food was delicious, and it was nice talking Spanish every single day to everybody. Like, you know, hola, me llamo Rafael, quiero un taco, ¿qué vamos a hacer hoy? ¿Cuánto es esto? Quiero algo de tomar, you know, ¿qué tienes aquí? ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Like, it was nice, right? But after settling in for a while, the feeling of loneliness started creeping up on me to the point where it just wrapped around me and it just didn't let go the entire trip. You know, I was trying to be optimistic, like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, it's nice, let me do this, but it just did not work. And it's not because I don't like my own company. I love my own company and I love doing things by myself. The only thing is that I have been doing things by myself for many, many, many years. And it comes to the point where, you know, it gets lonely. It gets tiring. You know, you want to have all these beautiful moments and you want to make all these memories, not just by yourself, at least to just me, right? This is just me. I want to make these memories with, you know, my friends or family or, you know, a man or a sneaky link, you know, anything at this point. You know, and it just comes to the point where it's just like, you know, you have all these beautiful moments, but you have nobody to share it with. And it gets sad to me, you know, because I've been doing it for year after year after year. And I know people say, oh, you know, just go do this, do that. You know, you can't depend on people. If they can't come, just go. And it's still something I struggle with, you know, because I get like really bad social anxiety because I can't just, you know, go up to people or and just start a conversation like that because I never know, you know, what if you don't want to be bothered, right? So that also is an issue. But, you know, even though it was a very unfortunate ending to my birthday week, the first half with my family, that was really, really nice. And of course, everybody's birthday comments and messages, I really, really appreciate that. So then we head back to the other group, right? We see, what's her name? Britt, we see Cynthia, and who else? Angela, and who else? And somebody else. They're doing the whiskey tasting, right? First of all, whiskey. You know, any dark liquor is just, you know, and then the man, he had them doing a million things like, oh, do this, and put the stick in and turn the bottle upside down. Oh, no, but you got to drink it like this. And now, see, if I was Angela or any of them, I would have just told the man, like, give me the fucking bottle. Go, 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 go. Now, let's sit down and gossip. You know, he's just doing too much. So they sit down, and then Britt, she has the nerve to tell Angela, I don't know, I just feel like you're being a victim, Britt, embezzled. Embezzled Britt? Like, that is crazy, embezzle. Like, she really called her a victim. That is crazy. That is rich coming from you. You know, that has been your whole persona this whole entire season up to this episode. And Angela, I know Angela was just like, yeah, you know what? Let me just be nice to her before I chew her up in the next episode, right? Because we see that sneak preview where she was just like, oh, you have miles on your mouth. That is crazy, Angela. So Angela's just playing nice with her, and she was just like, you know what? I'm trying to be nice to Britt because I did hurt her feelings. How? I'm not sure. She just asked a fair question, and then Britt, she got defensive. Why? Because she probably has some dirt underneath her sleeves or something going on with her life. So then Britt, you know, she's calling Angela a victim, but then all of a sudden she starts crying, and she's like, you know, how would you like it, you know, with you know, what can you put out there and all of this about you? And then here goes Cynthia. Well, you know, I mean, Angela, you know, you wouldn't like it, you know, if pictures of you sucking dick was out there. Ooh, Miss Bailey, how many whiskey shots you got? You know, this was so vulgar, right? But, you know, Angela kind of apologized to Britt and then kind of just moved on from that. But, you know, that won't last. So they head back to the house. They start getting ready for dinner. Porsha, she's on the phone with her daughter Pilar, and she's in a good mood, right? 2 seconds later, when they all reunite downstairs, Porsha, she comes down, but now her whole entire demeanor has changed. She's in a bad mood. They start asking her, Porsha, are you okay? Is everything okay? What's going on? What's happening? Porsha, she's playing dumb. Well, she's playing dumb, playing, right? Emphasis on playing. She was just like, oh, no, it's fine. Everything is okay. Everything is good. So they ask her again, are you sure, Porsha? I mean, you seem down. Do you want to steal somebody else's husband? Like, we can do that for you. Like, what's happening? Again, Porsha, she was just like, no, it's okay. Let's get ready for dinner. Like, no, it's fine. I don't want to talk about it. And honestly, I cannot stand when people act like this because you're clearly looking for attention. Like, obviously something's going on. Either say it or just go back upstairs and stop trying to ruin the mood. I would have asked her one good time, hey, Porsha, are you okay? Oh, you're not? Okay, well, fuck you too. Cheers to a girl's weekend. Cheers, bitch. You better watch those B words before you end up in the ocean. I just can't stand people who act like that, right? And then we find out that the real reason why she's in her feelings, because of her ex, the hot dog man, aka the producer, DJ Mustard on the beat. He was seen filming with Drew for the show, and somebody had called Porsha to let her know, so now she's upset about it. When she clearly told him, you know, episodes ago, I don't want you being on the show as a peach holder, as a friend of the show. I don't want you being the new Peter Center Peach Thomas, but yet he is. And it's like, Porsha, I kind of understood you at first, being territorial about your own, spot on the show, but like, you make it seem as if Dennis is gonna jump on into the intro and he's gonna have a whole peach and a whole tagline for next season. Like, relax. And even so, even let's just say Drew was to have gotten permission from Porsha, to film with him on the show. I still feel like Porsha would have been unhappy about it. Like, Porsha just does not want him being on the show at all. Why? I just don't, I get why, but it's just like, is it really that big of a deal to really let you piss you off like this much? And honestly, Porsha, we're being honest, you haven't really given us anything at all this season. You haven't talked about Simon, really. All you keep doing is just dragging the situation out with Drew. For what? Everybody else on this show has something going on. And Cynthia's here and there, but you're just kind of like, you're kind of there. And it really has me looking at her like, is Porsha kind of lame? And we were kind of oblivious to it, and now it's coming to light because you're really kind of just there, not really doing much. But she's upset, so now they're going outside. They started doing a line dancing class. They sit down, and they had a good time for that. They sit down. Porsha, again, she's still pissy. So then I believe Angela, she was just like, oh, me and Britt, we talked earlier about how supposedly I'm a victim, but I'm not really sure how, but so does anybody want to tell me? And then she kind of threw it at Porsha, like, Porsha, let's bring something to the show. Porsha, how am I a victim? Because I know you called me a victim, right? Here goes Porsha. Oh, what? I don't remember. Like, Porsha, you're on a reality TV show. Like, you need to give us something. Like, you can't just, you have to go with the flow. You can't just, I don't want to give Angela a moment. Because honestly, I feel like Porsha is going down the same route, unfortunately, as Nene and Kenya, specifically Nene, when feeling like she's like, too good for this show, too good to give anybody a moment, because that's exactly what she was doing. And Angela was trying to fish for a scene like, hey, let's talk about this, but Porsha just shut her down. So then Angela lost me when she started talking about accountability and dragging Kelly into it. And she was just like, oh, well, you didn't answer, Porsha, the question that she asked you about why did you steal Fallon's husband? And I'm like, okay, like, we still want answers to that, yes, but what does that have to do with this conversation? So then Porsha, she just tells Angela, well, I just want Angela to kiss my ass. Like, so disrespectful. Like, Porsha, go upstairs and take a nap or go eat a Snickers bar. Like, you're not you when you're hungry. So then Angela, she was just like, oh, well, no, the whole world could kiss your ass. I'm not doing that. So, that was that. So then Drew, she tried to get a scene out of Porsha. And I'm like, good luck. She was just like, so, since we're talking, Porsha, I just want to know what's going on between me and you. Like, do you want me on this trip? Do you not? First of all, Drew, common sense. You should have never invited yourself on this trip. You should have never surprised yourself on this trip. Even if Angela did invite you, like, why would you do that knowing that Porsha, obviously, every time you try to approach her, she kind of shuts you down. She gives you a cold shoulder. What makes you think that she'll have, open arms waiting for you as soon as you get there? No, it'll be different if you were somebody else's husband. Then she'll be like, oh, come this way. Come over here. But no, you're Drew. So again, you should have never came. But this is a television show, so of course she has to show up, right? So then Porsha, again, she's giving her the cold shoulder. And she was just like, no, you're straight. You're good. Like, oh, Porsha, you're so cranky. Go upstairs and take a nap. Like, you need to go to sleep. So then Drew was just like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to go because this is not my thing. So Drew, she ends up leaving, and that was that. I mean, you should have never came, but okay. So then Porsha, she was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go upstairs right now, because I just need to rest for a little bit. So she goes upstairs, and now we're just left with everybody looking at each other like, okay, so like, what are we going to film? What are we going to do? And, Porsha, again, if you don't want to be on the show, like, Mia, did anybody see that Mia from the Real Housewives of Potomac, that she has moved to Atlanta and she's not coming back for next season of Potomac? That is so disappointing. But, now she's been seen at Kelly's event and she's been hanging out with this cast. And I personally would love to see Mia on this show. They would chew her up to pieces, but I want to see it. And I feel like Mia will be perfect with this cast, especially with Remy Ma, Waffles. I can already see it now. So Porsha, if you don't like it, let's bring in Mia. So then Porsha, she goes upstairs. Cynthia, she goes upstairs. And, it was very cute to see Cynthia and Porsha, because if we remember way back then, when they got into it and Porsha, she tried to attack Cynthia on the boat. And Cynthia, she kicked her in the vagina. And now, here they are having a good moment, like, aw, time heals all wounds and vaginas. So then Porsha, she was just like, I just don't understand what's going on. I'm just sick of this. Like, this is just too much. Like, let me take off my eyelashes. They start having a cute moment, whatever. They start laughing. It was nice, right? So then eventually, everybody starts getting ready. They put their swimsuits on. They go out to the pool. Porsha, she comes back out, and now she's in a better mood, right? So Angela, she's the only one who stayed upstairs, right? She's getting ready to go to sleep or, talk to her husband 24/7 that doesn't want her. So then they start twerking, they start dancing, and this is how you know that Shamia, aka Cha-Ching, this is how you know that she's really rich, and she has it like that, because she starts throwing out money, and the money is just falling into the water like nothing. Absolutely not. If I was there, I would have been collecting it like this and just fanning it like this is gas money when we get back home. This is for a phone bill too. Like, that is crazy. Imagine just having that type of money where you just, I don't care if it's $1. In this economy, absolutely not. So they're dancing, they're having a good time. And then all of a sudden we see Mrs. Charles Oakley's wife, Angela, in the confessional. Well, you know what? Everything was good, everything was fine, but then I started hearing some things, and Angela, what's her name, Porsha, she mentioned my husband, and she said, oh, I should, fuck Charles, Oakley. Oh, Angela, Porsha, like, and this is all she says, and do I believe that Porsha would necessarily say something? Yes. Absolutely. I definitely believe that she would say something like this, especially when Kelly confirms it, because Angela, she just feels some type of way. So she starts recording them with her phone from the window like a creep. I'm like, Angela, what are you doing? Like, put the phone away. Like, what's going on here? Mind you, like, there was no good footage anyway. So she goes downstairs and she confronts them. And they're looking at her like, what are you talking about? What's happening? So Porsha, she goes upstairs feeling guilty. But then the next morning, as everybody's getting ready to go home, Kelly, in her confessional, she confirms, well, we were talking about things. Shamia, I believe she brought up that Angela's husband, he's with other women or something like that. And I'm like, ooh, Shamia? And then Kelly confirms, yeah, Porsha did say, oh, I should fuck Charles. And I believe it. Like, Porsha would say and do. She would say and do that. I mean, we see it. Look at the material. Look at the history. Like, it's there. Like, she did it with Fallon. What makes you think like she won't do it again? Like, Porsha, your true colors are really coming out even more and more as this season plays out, and we're only on episode 8. And how does this, how do you even fix this? And I'm pretty sure that Porsha just said that out of, spite or trying to be funny. But when you have a history of actually fucking other people's husband, you can't joke around like that. Like, because we could all joke around like that. I'm pretty sure that we've all said a joke or two like that, right? Right? We all said, oh, we should, fuck one of our friends, boyfriends or whatever. Like, we said it, right? Right? Oh, just me? Okay, well, I guess I'm a home wrecker too, but but Porsha, this is not a good look for you, and just a mess. But I believe Angela, and obviously Kelly confirmed, and I believe Britt also. So Porsha, this is not looking good for you, but yet you're over here upset because of the hot dog man trying to get a peach. Anyways, let me know what you all thought about this whole entire episode down in the comments. And do you believe that Porsha actually said that about Mrs. Charles Oakley's wife? Down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.